Few things test your patience like hitting print and getting absolutely nothing back. Welcome to Fix It Yourself, episode 21. Today, we're tackling the printer, the world's most frustrating device, and we're going to demystify it together. No tech skills needed. We'll start with the quickest, easiest fixes and work our way up. And the moment your page comes out, you're free to stop watching. Here's the good news. Printers tend to fail in just a handful of predictable ways. 9 times out of 10, it's one of these 4. A stuck print queue where one frozen job is holding up the line, the printer being offline because it's lost its Wi-Fi or cable, the wrong printer being selected, yes, including those sneaky save as PDF options, or something physical like paper, ink, or a jam. We'll work through them in order, and remember, the second a page comes out, you're done. And before we touch any settings or dig into menus, we start with the single most effective fix in the entire playbook. A proper 30-second reset. Press the power button to turn the printer fully off, then unplug it from the wall. Wait a full 30 seconds, and that pause actually matters because it lets the printer clear its memory and let go of whatever stuck state it's in. Then plug it back in, turn it on, and wait until it's completely ready on no blinking lights. While that's happening, restart your computer too, since your end can get stuck just as easily. I know it sounds almost too simple, but this one step fixes more printers than anything else we'll cover. Now, if the reset didn't do it, the next thing to check is whether your printer is actually in touch with your computer at all, because it can't print a job it never received. If you're plugged in by USB cable, make sure that cable is seated firmly at both ends. Try a different port, and if you've got a spare cable lying around, swap it in. Dead or loose, cables are a surprisingly common culprit. If you're on Wi-Fi, confirm the printer and the computer are on the same network, and glance at the printer screen for the Wi-Fi icon. If it's dropped off, you'll want to reconnect it. Once the connection looks good, there are 2 sneaky little settings that trip almost everyone up. First, when you hit print, take a quick look at which printer is actually selected. It's surprisingly easy to send your document to Microsoft Print to PDF or some old printer you haven't owned in years. Pick your real printer from the list and set it as the default. Second, Windows has a habit of flipping a printer into offline mode and just leaving it there. Open the printer in Settings and untick Use Printer Offline, and you may be back in business. Now, if your printer still won't budge, the culprit might be a traffic jam in the print queue, one failed job sitting at the front, blocking everything else behind it. On Windows, head to Settings, then Bluetooth and Devices, Printers, and open the print queue. Right-click any stuck jobs and hit Cancel. On a Mac, it's System Settings, Printers and Scanners. Pick your printer, open the printer queue, and clear stuck jobs with the little X. And if a job simply refuses to cancel, a quick restart from step 1 will force clear it for you. With the software side sorted, it's time to get hands-on, because printers are surprisingly bad at telling you what's physically wrong. Open the trays and gently pull out any caught paper. Peek at your ink or toner level, since a dead cartridge will stop everything, and make sure every cover and tray is fully clicked shut. Even a slightly open flap will halt most printers. And if you see a blinking light, that's an error code. A quick search with your printer's model number will tell you exactly what it means. If the hardware checks out, but it's still refusing to print, the invisible bridge between your computer and the printer, what's called the driver, might be broken. The fix is to remove the printer in your settings, then click Add Printer to put it back. And most of the time, Windows or Mac will quietly sort the driver out for you. If it doesn't, head straight to the manufacturer's official site, HP, Canon, Epson, or Brother, and grab the driver there. Avoid those flashy driver finder sites, they're usually scams. So let's pull everything together into one simple ladder you can climb from the top down. Start with a quick power cycle and PC restart. 30 seconds, done. Then check your cables or Wi-Fi. Make sure the right printer is selected and not stuck on offline, and clear that print queue. Honestly, steps 1 through 4 solve the vast majority of cases, so the moment a page slides out, you can stop. paper and ink checks come next, and reinstalling the printer is your last resort. Now here's a clever little trick that can save you a ton of guesswork. Ask the printer to print its own test page. You'll find it under Settings, Your Printer, then Printer Properties. Or sometimes there's a physical button right on the machine itself. If that test page comes out clean, congratulations. Your printer is fine, and the trouble is with the app or file you were trying to print. If nothing comes out, then it really is the printer, the connection, or the driver, and you keep climbing the ladder. Now, what if pages do come out, but they look terrible? Good news, that almost never means a broken printer. Faded or streaky lines usually point to low ink, or you can run the printer's built-in Clean Print Head tool. Totally blank pages? Either the cartridge is empty or, and this catches people all the time, there's still a strip of protective tape on a brand new one. If the layout is wrong or cut off, check that the paper size in your print settings matches what's actually in the tray. And if you're getting random garbled characters, that's almost always a driver problem. We'll reinstall it in step 6. Before we go further, let's talk about a few habits that genuinely make things worse. Mashing the print button 10 more times just piles up the stuck queue. Clear it first, like we did in step 4. Always double check which printer is selected, because half the time it won't print really means it printed to PDF or the office printer down the hall. And please avoid those shady driver finder websites. They're often malware. Stick to the manufacturer's official site, and if you can, use genuine ink, since the cheap third-party stuff is a common cause of cartridge errors and blank pages. So let's pull it all together in one quick checklist you can actually use. Start by power cycling the printer and restarting your PC. Then check the cable or confirm both devices are on the same Wi-Fi network. Make sure the right printer is selected and it isn't sitting in offline mode. Clear any stuck jobs from the queue. And finally, check paper, ink, and jams, saving a full driver reinstall for the very last resort. Remember, the moment it prints, you're done. No need to keep going. If you take just one idea away from all this, let it be this. Printing is a chain. Your app, your computer, the connection, the printer, and the paper. Won't print simply means one link in that chain has broken. Hammering the print button only stacks up copies that'll ambush you later. Print a test page, restart the gear, and you'll usually find and fix the weak link in under a minute. Now, if any of this sparked your curiosity, here's a small invitation. A wireless printer is really just another device on your network. And once you start wondering how it actually finds your computer, you're one step from a whole new rabbit hole. Over in the Networking Explained series, we unpack how a packet travels, how DNS lets devices find each other by name, and what same network really means for Wi-Fi. Same friendly style, just one level deeper. And if you'd rather stay closer to home, the Fix It Yourself series has a few neighbors worth bookmarking. Episode 22 tackles that classic printer offline message in Windows. Episode 23 walks you through adding a wireless printer from scratch, and if the real culprit turned out to be your Wi-Fi or a sluggish computer, episodes 13 and 7 have you covered. And hey, if your tech headache isn't on the list, drop it in the comments. It might just be the next episode. Before we wrap up, 2 quick parting gifts. First, save yourself the next panic. Once your printer is happily printing again, set it as the default and stash a spare ink or toner cartridge in a drawer. Honestly, most printer emergencies are just an empty cartridge at the worst possible moment. And second, if you'd like the deeper version of all this, how devices actually talk to each other, how to secure them, Dargslan has full IT and networking courses waiting at dargslan.com. Now, if you only remember 3 things from this whole walkthrough, make it these. 1. Power cycle everything. Printer off for 30 seconds, then restart your computer. 2. Make sure you're actually sending the job to your printer and not to print to PDF, and that use printer offline isn't quietly ticked. And 3. Clear out any stuck jobs in the queue, then send a single test page. Honestly, that combination fixes the vast majority of printer won't print moments. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. What was actually going on with your printer? Was it a stuck queue, the wrong printer selected by default, that mysterious offline glitch, or did it turn out to be something as simple as an empty cartridge? Drop a quick comment and let me know which fix did the trick. It genuinely helps other folks who land here with the same headache. And that's the whole approach in a nutshell. Find the broken link in the chain. Don't just keep mashing the print button and hoping. If this helped get your printer back to life, hit subscribe and stick around. I post one simple fix for a common tech headache every week, and you can always find more over at Dargslan.com. Thanks for hanging out, and happy printing.